Hi guys, this is Katherine Mitchell. This is my oral presentation for Research Paper 2 for HSEM 445. For this project, I chose to look into a company that had a successful experience using their business continuity plan. I did this because I was hoping to get a good look at how a company was able to adapt their plan, so I would kind of get some information going forward, finishing writing my own business continuity plan. So I was hoping it would kind of enlighten me a little bit. So after a little bit of research, I ended up looking into the Oric Corporation. The Oric Corporation makes vacuum cleaners, air purifiers, so on and so forth. And they originally only made them for hotels, and then their products were so successful that they started selling them as in-home products as well. But it's a relatively small company that serves a large populace. So they had, at the time of this incident, about 750 employees, but their products are used in about 50,000 hotels nationwide, and they're also sold in 450 retail stores. So they have a very big client base, so they have a big demand for their products. So the Oric Corporation has two facilities. They had a headquarter facility in New Orleans and their lone manufacturing plant in Long Beach, Mississippi. They had an existing business continuity plan, most of which involved moving resources from one location to the other if one became damaged in order to make sure things could keep going. They could keep rolling on with their business practices. What they hadn't considered were two things. The first was the human component of how devastating damage to those types of areas could be, and that because they rely so much on their employees to be present and able to do their jobs, they really needed to have a plan on how to help them so that business could keep rolling. And the second was that they never considered that some kind of storm or natural disaster could affect both their locations. So during Hurricane Katrina in 2005, they quickly realized before the storm hit that both their plant and their headquarters were in the line for this storm. So they immediately began adapting. Tom Oric, who is the CEO and the founder of the company, he founded it in 1963, is also a pilot, and so he prides himself on his ability to be a good leader and to be innovative. So he got together with his team and said, okay, this is our existing plan. These aspects of this plan are not going to work because we don't have a place to get these things done. So what they did, first thing, they evacuated their employees. They equipped as many employees as they could with company laptops in order for them to be able to telecommute as they were able to. Then they relocated all of their admin offices from their location in New Orleans to a third-party location in Dallas, Texas, so that those people could operate and continue doing things like payroll, timesheets, workers' comp, insurance claims, all that kind of stuff. Then they moved their call center so that customers could reach them to a third-party location in Colorado. They felt it was really important to make sure their customers could still reach them because they work so much on a client base. They don't just put products out. They really rely on their relationships with their consumers to keep business going. So they wanted to make sure consumers, even in the damaged area, could reach them. They relocated all of their critical documents and the backups to those critical documents. So they pulled them all out of both locations and relocated them away from the storm area. And then they shut down their manufacturing plants very carefully and systematically in order to protect as much equipment as they could when the storm actually hit. Now, when the storm hit, it ended up not damaging the manufacturing plant as significantly as they thought. It had about $4 million in damage, and they lost about $4 million in inventory. The main damage hit only 6 blocks away from their manufacturing plant. So when that happened, Tom Oric looked at the situation and said, okay, of our 750 employees, about a third of them have lost their homes. They have nowhere to go. They have no way to get back and forth to work or to take care of their families. Tom Oric really prides himself on his business being respectful of family and being family oriented. So Tom Oric went and bought on his own card a caravan of trailer homes and brought them into the area so that the employees had a place to safely put their families, their belongings, whatever they could, and they were able to return to their jobs. They nicknamed the little family of trailers Oricville for the duration that it existed. Tom Oric stated that you need to understand those things that are truly essential to your business, those things that without which the rest of your issues are irrelevant. And one of those things that he believes is absolutely essential is for employees to have their family situation under control. He said this is a family business. That is what he believes. So family was a critical component. So bringing in those trailers, bringing in those generators that he bought, he was able to give people stability. He was also able to take those generators and get the manufacturing plant running, getting business going. So he took all those generators, turned on the manufacturing plant, and sent people back to work. People were going to work, they were making money, they were supporting their families. He said that they need to see a path, or they need to see a reason to hope. They need to know that there is a path to normalcy, and he wanted to lead them down that path. Tom Orrick afterwards really noted that there were some big problems with their business continuity plan, and part of it is that none of the scenarios that they had considered were to the scale that Hurricane Katrina was. They had never proposed something that dramatic, so they weren't prepared for it. But because of their great leadership and their ability to be innovative, they were able to adapt to the situation and really make sure that their business didn't just survive, but it thrived after the storm. So afterwards, they looked at their business continuity plan, and he decided that he was going to take each department and allow them, the vice president of that department or that function, to create their own business continuity plan. Tom Orrick is quoted as saying that his management style and his organizational structure is lean and flat. Each area has exactly what it needs. It has a supervisor for that area, and they make decisions. He allows them to act very autonomously, and he believes that works great for his business. So he let each vice president, after the fact, develop their own business continuity plan. And then he takes all of those business continuity plans and formulates them into a business continuity plan for the entire organization. He does this because if one aspect is affected, they have a continuity plan for themselves. And if there's a large scale problem, each department has its own continuity plans that work together. So while he did engage in both some disaster relief and some disaster recovery and some crisis management, this is really a demonstration of a business continuity plan that wasn't perfect, that didn't hit all the bases, but was flexible enough to be adapted to really work for a company. And I think it really highlights the fact that every company has to have a unique business continuity plan. There just isn't a way for them to be one size fits all. It doesn't work, especially when you're facing situations like Hurricane Katrina. I believe that the Orrick Company did really well, and I think they correctly identified how important the human factor and the human component is to their type of business. I think they were really successful, and I was really happy to look at it, and it gave me a much better perspective on how to form my own business continuity plan for my organization. It really answered a lot of the questions that I had about, how do I cover this aspect? How do I make this so it's not so a hard line? And I'm really looking forward to taking what Tom Orrick did and applying it to my own business continuity plan. Thanks, guys.